My name is John and I'm at Paint School on Instagram. I've done over $15 million in paint jobs and I'm based out of Huntington Beach, California. Aaron is at Alpha Painting on Instagram. He's managed huge commercial projects with impossible timelines and now is a few years into building his own operation out of Branson, Missouri.
And you should probably check out our full process videos on YouTube because they're pretty badass.
Our point in doing this podcast is to put our 40 plus years of combined experience to the test. We've seen a decline in the industry, and while I think it's a bit arrogant to think we can change it, we're giving it a shot. Listen up and let us know what you think. This is Paint Sniffers Podcast.
All right, so we're back on for episode 22. We were just talking briefly about temperature at your place. You've got 90-degree temperature today and 100% humidity.
Yeah, but the humidity will probably fall off some. I bet it'd probably come down to like the 60s or 70% humidity would be my guess.
Yeah, it's crazy.
As it heats up.
So, and you were saying overnight temperatures are starting to drop?
Yeah, it's been like 80 something degrees at night, so it's starting to fall down into the 60s.
Yeah. So, is that crazy? We're like on the tail end of summer already.
Yeah, dude.
I was looking so fast.
Yeah, I was looking at my numbers, like my year to dates at the paint store, and I'm like, why the fuck am I so low in comparison to last year? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking about it, and I've had like, let me think, like 2 or 3 jobs. Well, one job was a Centurion job, so I got a shit ton of product that wasn't
there's 10 grand
from Sherwin, but I've had that one custom home we started last year and it bled into this year, so I had all my material primarily purchased last year.
Yep.
And then the Centurion project. So dude, I want to say I've lost like half this year on 2 jobs. You know, it's just tinkering with, being in 2 jobs that fucking were taking forever. So yeah, that put my my material numbers down a bunch.
Yeah, I haven't checked my purchasing numbers recently, but I did I had a meeting with Sherwin-Williams reps last week, and my sales rep and then his manager came into the office to talk about how they can get me to use more of their product. They're pushing Latitude pretty heavy. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, you gotta, like, every time something comes out, they fucking do that because we're their guinea pigs.
Yeah.
I use the shit on a door in like cool temperatures. I wouldn't want to fucking use it again.
Yeah. I haven't used it yet. They're going to do like this, I think they call it their test drive promotion where they do it half off or some shit like that.
Yeah, I think
so. We'll see. I'll try it.
Upwards, I think it's upwards of 15 gallons with 50% off.
Yeah, something like that.
They used to just demo back in the day. They'd demo full, like a whole fucking house full of paint for free.
And I get that every now and then with new products. Like my Dunn Edwards rep will throw me a few gallons to do, a trim package or something like that with. So they're talking about, they're wanting to like get more of my business over. And, I'd brought up do you do any kind of rebate program through Sherwin-Williams where you're like getting money back at the end of the year if you spend more than you did last year or that kind of stuff?
No.
So you usually have to prompt it. And I don't know if they have like cutoffs where you have to purchase more than this amount in order to get into a rebate program. But basically, Dunn Edwards does this for me already. But like if you spent $100,000 last year in product, anything above, so if you get to 100,000 again, they'll give you 5% back, which is $5,000. If you get to then anything over the 100,000, they would give you an additional 5% off of that, or whatever percent, 10%, something like that. So then if I spent 200,000, I would get 10,000 back. So they're going to get that program set up, because I was like, I don't really have a reason to switch over. Like I've been with my Dunn Edwards rep for like, I don't know, 18 years. Um, Anything that I need, the guy will do. I don't require much of him or request much of him, but I told them, I was like, I have some loyalty, like I like their products. But on top of that, I have some loyalty. So you guys just matching the pricing or getting $1 better per gallon is not going to sway me. Like it's just not, that's not
Yeah.
interesting to me. If you do a rebate program where I could stand to make or save a lot of money, that's interesting. I'll at least start ramping up my money just to get that rebate every year.
Yeah, 20% sounds a lot better than 10.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
no
what I'd
shit.
tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be like, I wipe my ass with 10 grand if I were you, you know?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, so it's I don't know. We'll see what happens there. They always drag their feet on that shit. Um yeah, so getting caught up. Boy, what do we want to get into first? The economy, projects going on. I've got that fucking four building apartment complex that's had some interesting developments over the past week and a half.
Is that new?
Yeah, we did that. We started that 2 weeks
How
ago
many
now.
units is it?
32, I think. I think it's 8 units per building.
Yeah.
So that one I had a little bit of uncomfortableness in the very beginning, just getting a deposit payment in, having to prompt him wanting to push the dates back because his carpenters were still coming in.
How
So it was a
many how
little,
many how many unit or what is square feet per unit?
I don't know. I don't have those numbers with me because we don't have the measurements for the interior. We just do an exterior.
Oh,
Yeah. So, but it's like a $40,000 job. It's about 10 grand per building.
yeah.
And it's a big box, like there's
Yeah.
nothing special about it. Um, I was planning like maybe 2 weeks max for this project.
Yeah.
So he got his guys. First off, they came in like, well, they were supposed to finish. They were adding on some siding to match the existing siding, but to cover up some gaps. Like there was 2 sections where there was siding on either side of a window, and then just stucco through the middle. So they were going to add stucco in there to tie the 2 siding pieces together. They were going to wrap the corners, 3 feet on either side of the building with siding. So they were supposed to do that the Wednesday prior to the Monday with us power washing. So that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, get that shit done. They didn't do any of it. Um, so Monday we show up for power washing. They're like, "Oh yeah, the guys are going to be here on Wednesday. We just wanted to wait and see if you guys uncovered more wood that needed to be replaced." So I was like, "All right, that's fine." Um, so we get to Wednesday. They have one guy there, instead of a crew. So the one guy starts just dicking around, like removing some rain gutters and blah blah blah. So we get through that week, and I think on Friday we start painting stucco on one of the buildings. Um, the owner of the building, he lives in LA or something, comes down on Saturday, sends me a bunch of pictures, texts me a bunch of pictures of like little tiny stucco cracks and shit like that. I'm like, yeah, that's no problem. We'll take care of it. So then Monday comes around, his guys come in heavy, they've got 3 or 4 guys there working on wood replacement. I send the guy an invoice, in my payment schedule. On my invoice, it was a $5,000 payment that was due the first Friday. Doesn't pay it, doesn't respond. Send him a reminder on Monday, doesn't pay it, doesn't respond. And then I called him Tuesday, um, and he's like, I can't pay anything else until the prep work is 100% done. I'm like, all right, let's go meet at the project. We'll talk about what 100% is. So he's like, no, I don't have time to meet at the project. My guys are still replacing woodwork. Like, you're not going to be done with prep until they're done replacing woodwork because you have to prime whatever they put up. Blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, you guys are supposed to be out here last week, right? Like, you can't now just go backwards and hold me back because your guys showed up late. So it was an uncomfortable conversation, and it ended up as like he doesn't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to him what my schedule is. It doesn't matter to him. I was like, at the end of the day, like, what do you want to do here? Do you want us to wait and not do anything until you guys are done? Like, what are you looking for? I'm like, I don't mind pulling guys off, but I've got 8 guys scheduled to be there tomorrow. And it sounds like you're not in a hurry. If your guys are not going to be done with woodwork, I'm not going to have 4 guys sitting around doing nothing while the other 4 are working. Um, and I'm like, are you okay with this job taking a month or 6 weeks? Like, you know, where are you at on this? Where's your head at? And he's like, I just want to be done well. Apparently you don't care about quality or some shit like that. I was like, come on, dude. So, it's like the back and forth, right? Like, what makes you think I don't care about quality? Well, you're trying to rush my guys. I'm like, I'm not trying to rush your guys, but if you want to keep a timeline, your guys got to move. Your guys got to step up, get the pace going. Well,
Dude,
I just
I
want them to do
hate
it
that
right.
shit.
I know.
Yeah.
It's fucking
I
annoying.
fucking hate that shit. So I
Yeah.
would like in commercial production, the only good thing in that about not being the boss was, running the logistics, and I could have the boss play good cop, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I couldn't stand that shit, but I would always set myself up to where it didn't matter what it would fucking be, like people would always try and run over the painter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we were always prepared and would do whatever the fuck it would take to protect ourselves, like
Yeah.
because they'll use anything they can use to try and say you're behind or
Yeah.
whatever, dude.
Yep.
And that last project, it finally got to the stage to where nobody could touch us,
Yeah. Yeah.
1,000 gallons a fucking day. I was putting up in walls and I was staying late until like fucking 1, 2 a.m. sometimes to shoot, a whole floor of trim packages, which is, hundreds of doors and jams.
Yeah.
And it finally got to the point to where they sent the carpenters to install a trim package on an entire floor over my raw drywall, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was pissed, dude. I threw an energy drink at a carpenter's head and fucking dude, then the general contractor, was like, well, this has to be done. You guys have to be done with this. I was like, okay, cool. Where the fuck is my drywall? It got to the
Yeah.
point to where like they're wanting me to be done, but they don't even have sheetrock up. I'm like, how
Yeah.
the fuck do I paint sheetrock that's not there? And his response was, I don't know. You have to paint it. I was like,
Figure it
cool.
out.
I'll go in there and I'll start spraying fucking studs, dude.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. That's the thing, right? Is like, especially in commercial. In commercial, they don't give a fuck. And on some contracts, you have timelines where you're getting fined if it's not done by a certain
yeah.
date. Dude, that shit gets
That's that,
rough.
like I don't even want to fuck with the shit like for
No.
myself. I
Yeah.
have you know, I've had to simmer down a lot, like dealing with homeowners and stuff, and I,
Yeah.
be super respectful and
Yeah.
nice and you know get them to feel comfortable when I'm
Right.
bidding and just dealing with it like on job sites, dude. I am a
Yeah.
fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And
Well,
there's
so this guy went to like, he paid a deposit. It's like 8 grand, 8,500, something like that. And, when we're having this argument, it's not heated yet, but it's uncomfortable. And he's like, I mean, so what are we gonna do here? Am I gonna have to call Amex and cancel that deposit payment? Like, what's the deal? I'm like, you motherfucker. Like, what a piece of shit to go that route. Like, I hate that shit when people try to pull like a power move like that. Like, oh, I'll fucking take payment away. So, we figured out, all right, completion is going to be X, on the prep work. That's when you're going to pay the $5,000 payment. I'm pulling off everybody. I'm going to have 2 guys there following your guys, fucking priming their wood and patching up joints and shit like that. And it's just going to take longer, is what it is. So, with that going on, we have other projects that I can fill in for the rest of my guys. Um, but I have like this finance dashboard where I'm like tracking cash flow. It's like a fancy spreadsheet, but it's money in, money out. And so for that project, I had to just take it off the books. I don't know when the fuck this guy's going to make payments. Like, I can't count on him, to
yeah.
pay when he's supposed to. So, like, this is and beginning of this week. So I took all his payments off my books. You know, it's a lot of money. It's like fucking 30, it'll be like 28 grand after his $5,000 payment. If he makes the $5,000 payment. Um, so basically I have to not rely on that money now for the next however many weeks that we're working on this project.
Yeah,
You know,
but
just
have the
fucking
guys
annoying.
there.
Have guys there, paying them every week to be there and be busy. And it's like all these fucking apartment tenants are not going to be happy that this job's going to take 6 weeks. He was telling everybody it's 2 weeks. You know,
Yeah,
like, oh, you're just going to be inconvenienced for 2 weeks. It's going to be like, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks probably at the rate he wants to do it. He wants to fucking have his assistant come and inspect our prep work. His assistant who doesn't know anything about painting. Oh, that was another one he pulled on me. Uh, he was talking about prep work or something like that. And he's like, I've been painting, or I've managed 800 units for the past 20 years. I know what good prep work looks like. I know how long paint should last. You know, blah blah blah. I'm like,
yeah.
oh fuck, all right,
Then
you're
why
one of
aren't you
those
doing it
guys.
yourself?
Yeah, I have other painters. They were just too busy to do this project. You know, like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, fucking stupid. So
I,
these
I've
types of jobs, like at some point, I'll get a nice payday on it. It's just at a point now where I can't fucking rely on it.
yeah, dude, I can't deal with that shit. I did a job for one. This dude was like, you could tell he's like a handyman, but he's trying to be like a general contractor.
Yeah.
So he hired us on a remodel. Um, you know, obviously, I didn't realize that right from the start. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
man, I give him my pricing. Um, Turns out that there's like 8 additional colors. You know,
Yeah.
and uh, there's like handrail that I didn't bid. There's, you know, all kinds of stupid shit going on. I had paint. The dude gave me the okay to paint my trim package, and then he came back because he had, I don't remember what the deal was, but like the pocket doors wouldn't close or something. He ripped all of the casing off of my closet door jams. And
Yeah.
dude, I bit my tongue as long as I fucking could, you know. And it it was a remodel, but there was like some of the people shit in there. I ended
Hmm.
up moving a bed outside. um and no, one of his guys had helped me move a bed outside because it was in the way. And
Hmm.
I guess, you know, he claimed that it had gotten wet or something. So this was post me turning in an extra ticket. But I had
Hmm.
billed for like the color change fees, and billed for him ripping out all the fucking door frames and yada
Yeah.
yada. Turned in an extra ticket, and he was butthurt about it. You know, acted like he wasn't gonna pay it. And dude, fucking 8 additional colors, like, you
Yeah.
can fucking kiss my ass. But he ended up saying that I had to replace that bed. I was like, dude, fuck you. Like, your guy is the one that helped me move it out there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Hmm.
why the fuck is that bed in there in the first place? Like,
Yeah.
not my deal. Not my fucking deal at all. But anyway, he wouldn't pay it, and I ended up telling him, you know, well, I'm not fucking paying for that bed. Like, you know, go ahead and take the fucking extras out of that. And he's like, oh, I figured you'd say that, you know, kind of shit. But I blew my lid on the guy, dude. And
Yeah.
I just fucking, like, at the top of my lungs, was
Yeah.
screaming at him, telling him, you know, like, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I've never seen anybody so disorganized in a work site, so filthy, and these
Yeah.
handrails look like a child's mind fucking built them, and just going fucking off, dude. And he's like, well, if this is how you're gonna act, he's like, you can just fucking, this was before the project was finished. He's like, you can just leave and I'll finish this job. And at the top of my lungs, screamed, dude, no, you know, like,
Yeah.
fucking, I am gonna finish this fucking job and you're gonna pay me for it, motherfucker. Like, I
Yeah.
could tell he was like, you know, trying to do the thing where he's gonna fuck you out of money, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't, you know,
Yep.
that's, I can't deal with those big, commercial companies myself, dude. I'd blow a fucking
Yeah.
lid. The
Yeah.
only reason I did that shit my whole career is because somebody else was managing the money. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I really can't stand the people who think they have power over you because you're fucking doing a job for them. Like that
Yeah.
shit bothers me. I've had a couple of homeowners like that. And I've had some big, like real big arguments with people about shit like that. You know, part of the business, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. So, what projects are you working on now?
These, dude, it's been 2 months since we pulled off of this cabin Centurion
Mm-hmm.
conversion.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I go there. What did we go there? Monday or something, and I was told that it was ready. So we'd been waiting on floors. That the general contractor did the thing where they're like, okay, we're ready for you. I'm like, all right, we'll be there Monday, and then he's like, well, maybe we should wait because the electricians are still in there. So he was trying to get me to say that I couldn't make it there. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? To make it
yeah,
seem
yeah.
like maybe he
He
could blame it.
tried. Yeah, yeah,
Maybe he could blame it on me that it's taken so long or something.
yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, we'll be there. And then they wanted to change that and have me wait.
Yeah,
So we moved it to Monday. I get there and the fucking drywall, dude. It's it's just like the drywall are sanded too deep in areas and exposed paper. He didn't sand
shit.
enough in areas. Dude, it looks ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah,
So I told him, I was like, I'm gonna either need somebody to sign off on all this shit, or you're gonna have to get your drywaller back out here because I'm not painting this and owning
yeah.
it. You know,
That's
just
the move, right? That's the move is to say, like, okay, general contractor, here's a document that says the drywall is ready for paint. You guys aren't going to do any more skim coating, even though I'd recommend it. Sign off, boom. Now you paint it, it looks like shit. The homeowner says, why does it look like shit? You say, I told general contractor he signed off on it,
yeah.
you know?
So I painted or pre-painting baseboards before they go up, and that way over primer. Like I don't like the way if you go to brush even a product that
Oh,
lays
yeah.
down well, you
Yeah.
brush it over primer, you're going to have brush strokes because it's
Yeah.
absorbing too fast and it
Guys,
doesn't have
yeah.
the time to lay down. So
Hmm.
spraying some sticks of base out that way after they go up, it'll lay down nice when we brush it.
Yeah.
Spraying all of our quarter round before it goes up, which is in a different color. And then we've got some different color baseboard in another room. So I've pre-painted all that. Other than that, like, I told them I would go back next, what did I say? Next Wednesday. And they'll just have to let me know if the drywall is going to be done.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I've got to I've got to antique the stairs and handrail system and clear coat them, paint the drywall, and do some touch ups, and we'll be done with that job. The big exterior we're on, I got all my fall protection set up and off the roof. We're waiting on pump jacks. They're supposed to be here by, they said, the first of next month, or they're supposed to ship by the first of next month, but they keep fucking me around on
Yeah.
time frames
So
on
is
that.
that, I mean, are they building those to order or like,
I
how does
don't
that
know,
work?
dude. I don't know what the fuck's going on. You
Low
would think
supply?
that, uh, y- pump jacks are expensive, dude, and
Yeah.
I pretty much don't know of any painters that have them. It's usually siding crews.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, you don't see them around here like almost ever. I've only used them a handful of times from projects that they were on. They're fucking
yeah,
awesome. Like if you haven't used pump jacks before and you hop on them, it's like, damn, this is
yeah.
a cool
Nobody runs
system.
nets, dude, and that's like the
Yeah,
biggest thing is running a net from your walkboard to your backboard, and it makes you feel so much safer because there's
yeah,
nothing worse than being slowed down because you're fucking scared.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, the net fucking makes all the difference in the world.
yeah,
Dude, I've dropped, like, I'm gonna have to start. Shit's gonna start tightening up for me until I start getting to some of these other projects and getting draws. I've
Hmm.
spent 10 grand pretty much on the pump jacks, a fucking trailer, and
Yeah, is your
getting
trailer done? So
yeah,
you bought a trailer. It was like a 14 footer, 18 footer,
18 foot, yeah,
18 foot. That's fucking long.
yeah,
Um,
an 18 foot car
flatbed,
hauler, yeah.
right? And then you got custom racks put on it, right?
Yeah, I had all steel cage framed on it. We've got like I might have to add some more braces, but I've got it set up to where I have one side that will hold a side mounted ladder.
Mm,
The other side there's braces that are going to hold all of our pump jack poles, and then I've got braces on the interior that'll hold our pumps and our backboard braces, and it's all kind of just designed just to hold, you know,
yeah,
hold the
that's
pump
pretty cool
jacks.
to be able to get it all custom made like that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like best case scenario, really. So, where do you are you able to store that somewhere where it feels like secure? You
Dude,
know, because once you finish this
yeah,
project, you're gonna get them all on the trailer,
it's at my
and
house.
then yeah,
Dude,
I
I've
guess you got
I got
guns
to
and
get the
shit.
fuck out of this place, but I got to figure out a way to get my taxes. I didn't know this until like a few months ago, but I have like a few $100s that I owe the IRS for 2000, uh I think it's 2019, and then I owe for 2020. No, maybe it's 20. Yeah, 19, 20, and 21, dude. But I for
Yeah.
21 I owe like 12 grand.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna pay off 19 and 20, and then fucking I spent like 3 hours on the phone with the IRS, like trying to make payment arrangements, and they did that fucking debt collector thing where they pissed me
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
And you're subject to levies and liens. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to set up fucking payment arrangements,
Yeah.
and it's like a foreign chick,
Yeah.
you can't even talk to somebody that is
Yeah.
American, it seems like.
Yeah.
And they're, like, cool, if I pay thousands of dollars, they still, it's just interest bearing daily,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fuck the IRS, dude.
Yeah.
And
So there,
now they're adding 86,000 fucking IRS agents.
man, I I don't even want to see what that does to. I imagine it's the middle class, middle and lower class that's going to get hurt the most. Um, so like, have you in some of the news stories I read, and I don't fucking know, I don't vet these things, um, but it seems like in the bill they're saying it's not going to affect middle and lower incomes. It's going to be for upper incomes. Like we need more IRS agents so they have like unlimited budgets, unlimited timelines to dig in and see how to get more taxes out of the rich.
Those were also the same people that were trying to have a bill passed where the government could look in your bank account if you had more than $400 in
Yeah,
it.
for Venmo and all that shit.
Yeah.
So um, the problem is like the wealthy people have so much access to lawyers and accountants and CPAs to be able to legitimately avoid paying taxes. Like
Yeah.
based on the actual laws, like the laws are put together in a way where there's a lot of ways to avoid it. Like you could set up fucking separate corporations and like right now, I if I own the building I rent that I'm working out of, um, I could have one corporation own the building. I could have my painting corporation pay my corporation that owns the building rent, right? So painting corporation's writing that off. Um, Main corporation is owning the building and receiving payments and writing off interest on the loan. Like there's so many ways to legitimately show no income at the end of the year, every year, forever. And people at the lower level don't even know what those options are. Like unless you talk to somebody who's either done it or been through it or somebody who knows what to do, like where all the lines are that you can ride, you have no idea. Like it's just, and so those people who are trying to ride the lines but are not quite doing it the right way are going to get fucked when, you have 100 IRS agents looking at your accounts, digging through, seeing how much money they can get out of you. Like guaranteed, the state or the government is going to get more money having all these IRS agents in there.
Yeah.
Because they're probably understaffed now. But
I know of
dude,
somebody that fucking has upwards of like 20 businesses or so,
yeah,
and fucking uh is showing losses and getting a
yeah,
tax return, and fucking has taken, from what I hear, has taken all the COVID relief shit and has gotten
hmm,
like over $1 million in
yeah,
the COVID relief shit for all the businesses. And
yep.
like, dude,
Yeah,
there's
it's
some
really easy to show losses.
there's crooks out there, and dude, if
Yeah.
the IRS comes after just regular people trying to get by, that's
That's what's going to
bullshit.
happen because
Yeah,
the there's a lot of people that make a lot of think about the interest you would have in not paying taxes. If you made $500,000 in a year, taxes are going to take like fucking 200 grand. No way. Or 250. Not
yeah,
a chance, dude. I'll spend 100 grand to save the other 150. Like if I got to get accountants in and we got to set up two new companies and move the money around or whatever. There's so many loopholes. The problem is it's not obvious, and most people are not even aware that they're there. Right? Like
yeah,
if you're a W-2 employee, you don't know that you could also set up a corporation and lose money in that corporation to offset your income. If you set up if I was making 50 grand a year right now, I'm a W-2 employee, I get a regular paycheck every week. Um, I could, you know, technically claim lower withholding so I get more of my money out and then set up a company, whatever it is. Fucking I knit uh I knit doilies and that company loses 30 grand a year, just in advertising costs or whatever. Uh it only brings in $100 a year on income. And that $30,000 loss or a $5,000 loss, even just make it five, goes against your income, from your actual W-2 job. So you get that 5,000 where you're not losing money on taxes. So you net 2 grand, um, there's so many ways to do that. Then when you start getting into real money, then it's like real estate purchases, vehicle purchases at the end of the year. Like all these people that bought G Wagons over the last 2 years, it's over a 6,000 pound vehicle. So it counts as commercial. So you can fully write it off. So if
yeah.
you have way too much money, you buy one of those things for 200 grand and that's a write off. Now you're not paying taxes on that 200 grand and it's kind of an asset, that vehicle anyway.
You would have to pay sales tax, though, right?
Yeah, but so let's say I have $1 million in cash. I'm going to get fucking taxed. Like if I don't do anything creative, I make $1 million in cash this year. I'm going to get taxed $400,000. So 400 grand, I'm just going to lose. It's just gone. Gone to the government.
Yeah,
If I go buy this vehicle, that's 200 grand. That lowers my income. I'm going to lose that 400 anyway. Now I'm lowering it by 200. So sure, I pay 20 grand on sales tax. Um, but for the 180 grand, it's spent. So I'm not getting taxed on that money. I'm
yeah.
not losing that money. Plus I'm getting taxed at a lower rate. It's crazy. But so you could buy properties, there's just a lot of options for, or reinvesting money back in the company. A lot of commercial companies or like retail places will do their painting in December. They have money they have to spend, they have to get it off their books. So, you make $1 million in 2022. Um, you got to get rid of some of that money. So if you're going to paint next year or you're planning on painting soon anyway, and it's going to be $100,000 project, you might as well get that contract done in December. That way you get to burn that money in December. That comes off of your income, pay less taxes and still get the work done. It's just, amazing the amount of ways. Even buying boats, if you buy a big boat, it's better to do it have a corporation own the boat, or an LLC. That way it's a business transaction. It's not a personal transaction. Um,
That's legal.
yeah, 100%. So you set up a corporation, that corporation buys the boat,
Yeah.
or it could even buy it from you, you know?
It sounds like
Um,
a lot of these tax laws were written by crooked CEOs.
it does, huh? There's a lot of funky loopholes. But yeah, I mean, there's like guys making big money that own lots of different corporations just so they can move money around. It's crazy. So, but like the normal person is not aware of that at all. They know shit like that goes on, but they wouldn't know the first place to start on how to do it.
Yeah.
Uh, and so when the IRS gets, 87,000 new agents fucking looking around everyone's paperwork,
Yeah. And
all
has
the people
bought
that are good. Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of rounds of ammunition and is looking to hire people that are willing to work, what did they say, 15 hours a day or 12 hours a day,
Yeah.
must be willing to make arrests and use deadly force, yada yada.
It's
That's what
crazy.
their hiring deal says.
Oh, man. Weird time. Well, while we're on it, the economy. So I think the consumer price index, um, there have been like monthly reports on where inflation is going. And so kind of famously or publicly, um, the inflation increased. We had two negative quarters in a row, but the administration said that it is not inflation. Our
Yeah.
inflation is at zero,
Yeah.
which is, I don't know if
And
it was
that
a
they
typo,
said
but nobody corrected it.
don't worry, we're not in a recession because
Yeah.
they have changed the definition of recession.
Yes. It no longer is two negative quarters in a row. That's even though we've been using that for a long time. That no longer is a definition of recession. Um, so, but what is this bill called? The Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah.
So, some people think there's inflation that needs to be reduced. Some think there isn't.
Yeah,
Um,
the Inflation Reduction Act is just the bill about adding IRS agents. It's got nothing to do with reducing inflation.
yeah, there seems like a lot of shady stuff going on in the bill. I don't know enough about it to go deep in it, but um, when I do, we will. So, housing interest rates have dropped a little, which is interesting because interest rates from the Fed have increased a little. But supposedly, the reason that the housing interest rates drop is because there's confidence in the future of real estate. I think there's confidence right now that, in 2, 3, 5 years out, houses are going to normalize again. So keeping the interest rates low right now is not a big risk. So that's, people are confident that real estate is going to be fine over the next few years. Which, if that is the case, that's good for us because I think a lot of our business is tied to real estate prices, in the
Yeah.
painting industry. So hopefully it stays that way. That's a pretty good sign for us, I think. I still think our gas prices have come down quite a bit here, $1 a gallon. Still fucking expensive. It's like $4.50 a gallon, but it's
Yeah.
not $5.50 a gallon. How's your guys' gas price holding on?
It's went down a little bit.
Yeah.
I think we're in the. I'd have to check, but I want to say we're like in the 330s or something.
Yeah.
338. But that's what they do, man. They jack it up to $4 or $5 a gallon, and then they back it off a little bit, and they be like, see what we did.
Yeah. Even though it's a
Oh,
dollar
didn't we?
more than it was
Yeah,
before all this
didn't
shit
we make
happened.
it better?
Yep.
Fucking cocksuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, gas prices came down a little. a little from the high, but it's quite a bit higher than it was, a year ago, 6 months
Dude,
ago,
we're
even.
like I said, dude, I watched it get down to $1.28 or some shit, here.
Yeah.
Like I was just slightly over $20 to fill up my truck.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
I
was
can't
I was
remember
at
a
like,
time.
yeah, like $25 to fill my truck up, dude. Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Yeah, mine, shit. I think the last time I filled mine up, it was random because usually my card will cut off at $100 or 125 depending on which card I use. I don't
Yeah.
know why this time it just ran, but it was like $160, 154 or something like that. And I don't remember if it was empty. Probably not
Yeah.
fully empty. Yeah, so it's been interesting. But yeah, so real estate price or interest rates coming down a little bit on real estate. Average home prices are coming down a little bit. I think all of that has kind of slowed down. Houses are sitting on the market longer. So it's still a funky time. And it seems like immediately spending is slowing a little bit, but it's not cut off, you know. Um, all over the Facebook groups these days, people are talking about it slowing down. Is anybody else feeling it? And then 30 people chime in. Same here, same here. And then a couple assholes are in there like, I'm busier than ever. I can't keep up with the demand,
Yeah.
like fuck. But that seems to be the consensus. Some kind of slowdown.
Yeah, it like I've said before, like my calls have slowed, or
Yep.
my calls slowed. Maybe was it last month or month before, but they've kind of I've been getting some phone calls the last month or so. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
started, you know, coming back a little bit, but um, I don't see any signs yet of the apocalypse.
Yeah. It seems
But
like
I
the
kind of
apocalypse is like balanced out for now, like leveled out.
yeah. But fuck, I don't know, man. Like all it really is gonna take is for you know people to decide, oh shit, we are in a
Anything,
recession.
any
You know,
any little trigger right now, I think, is like we're
yeah,
fucked. Because
we're
I think everyone is so on edge, like with
yeah,
everything.
and the people that we rely on to like, hey, this person's gonna pay you know $17,000 to have the outside of their house painted, or
Yeah.
this person's going to pay 40 or 50 grand to remodel the inside of their house, or blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
That shit could just turn off and people sit on their money at any
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. That's, I think, um, like the stuff in Ukraine, I think that could trigger it pretty easily. I think the
And dude,
China tension could trigger it pretty easily.
isn't it weird how it doesn't it to me seem like our country is censoring what is going on over there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's definitely not being like pushed,
Yeah, well,
it's
like you
not.
do, I haven't seen any footage of war,
Yeah.
and supposedly they're over there fighting, and it's a big deal. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
It's weird, right? It's like being suppressed,
Yeah,
like they just don't want us to see it. Yeah, because usually shit like this is all over the news. That's all
yeah,
anyone talks about all day long. And it's video footage of buildings fucking blowing up
yeah.
and
You'll have American
freaking everyone out.
reporters over there with plumes of smoke in the
Yeah.
background and bombs
Yep.
dropping, and
Yeah.
something weird's going on with all that
Well,
shit,
even in
dude.
the beginning, when it was first getting ready to happen, there were like cameras on Ukraine buildings like full time. It
Yeah,
was like, what's going to happen? There was a I don't remember what happened because I was like watching it, pretty closely for the first few days or whatever until nothing was going on. But yeah, they would have reporters like this, you and I, and the whole background was like a big shot of their Capitol building or whatever.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's like backed off a lot.
You ever seen that famous footage from like it's like CNBC or fucking I can't remember what it was, like CBS or ABC or some shit. Maybe it was CNN. But it's famous footage from the 80s when they were during the Gulf War, and there's two reporters standing there, and they're fucking, oh, there's stuff happening, and one dude puts on a gas mask and stuff, and you can tell it's like fake palm trees in the background, and it's on like a set, and they're pretending that they're in the Middle East,
Oh
but
shit.
that's our fucking media, dude. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's really surprising. Apparently we are not just giving them all these weapons and all this support, but we're loaning it to them. So they're going to owe us quite a bit, which seems like the United States thing to do.
Uh, I just
Get
I
some
just
people
read a
by the
deal
balls.
that there's like Ukrainian politicians, like one of their wives just got popped smuggling $1 million out of the country.
Hmm.
There's a lot of the weapons we're sending there. Ukraine can't even staff or put a man behind the amount of weapons we're sending there, and Ukraine is
Yeah.
selling them on the black market, and just all kinds of stupid shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's like the second most corrupt country in the world, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, save Ukraine, blah blah, dude.
It is really weird, right? Like a lot of the um that's not, I don't think that's just an opinion that they're a corrupt country. I think that's
Yeah, it's
pretty well
fact.
known and agreed upon. Um but yeah, I'm curious. You ever listen to Lex Friedman podcast?
I know who Lex Friedman is. I've listened to him talk.
Yeah, yeah. He's a pretty
I think
smart,
on I think I've
dirty
listened to
guy.
him like twice on Rogan or something.
Yeah. He's got a podcast, and I believe he had like a CIA agent on there recently, or ex CIA,
Yeah,
and they were talking about how basically the U.S. is just giving them weapons, not giving them, selling them, putting them on loan, and then basically saying you're just going to owe us, right? Like some gangster shit. Here, you can have all this, but you're going to owe us.
yeah,
And the interest rate starts today. And, I don't know how you guys are going to pay us back, but we'll figure it out. Here you go. Here's some more weapons.
yeah. And then they'll fucking make the people pay for it. Us,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
86,000 IRS agents. They got to get that Ukrainian
Got to
money
get
from
that money
somewhere.
back. Yeah. We spent too much on the bailout and the,
Yeah. But don't worry about the homeless zombies just fucking
yeah.
crawling, like scratching at the windows in LA and fucking nowhere to fucking go. And don't worry
That's an
about the people in
interesting,
this country.
yeah, that's a real interesting side effect that hasn't hit yet. Like it seems like homeless is bad now, but all of these moratoriums on rent are either just got lifted or are just getting lifted now, where you couldn't kick out a tenant if they weren't paying rent.
Yeah.
That was like for the last 2 years, 2.5 years. You couldn't kick somebody out if they weren't paying rent, which is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like if you're a home landlord, and you had a couple properties and your tenants don't have to pay rent and you can't do anything about it, fuck. I couldn't even imagine that. Let alone like not even just getting the mortgage payment covered, but if you're getting some kind of cash flow to live off of from that, let's say
Yeah.
it's $1,000 and you're an older person, and that just goes away. Plus you can't pay your mortgage. Like, man, shitty
Yeah.
situation. So all those people are gonna, now you can evict them. Now you can kick them out. What's gonna happen to all those people? You know?
And I'm watching like, dude, yeah. Even here, dude. You see them, they're obviously putting like fentanyl and like other drugs and shit, and you're starting to see people all crazy and shit on the streets, and
Yeah, that's a
it's
scary
weird.
thing too. Fentanyl getting into everything,
Yeah,
dude. That's like there's a lot of people overdosing by accident on that stuff. Kind of
yeah,
wild. Yeah. So painting industry looks okay so far, but the world at large, I don't know so much. Oh,
yeah.
it's wild. All right, I think we'll cut this one short. episode 22. We've still got the contest going on. We're going to drop in a couple letters on this one on the YouTube version only. They will not be on the podcast audio version, but they'll be on the YouTube channel. So we'll get a couple in there, and see you next time.
Later,
man.
As always, please like our YouTube page, give us 5-star only reviews on all podcast platforms. If you have questions or comments, send them over to hello@paintsniffers.com or on Instagram @paint_sniffers.
You can also watch the video version of the podcast on the Alpha Painting YouTube page. Go to playlists and it will be filed under Paint Sniffer Podcast. Via YouTube, you can write into QA@paintsniffer.com.
Thank you for listening to Paint Sniffer Podcast.